Hello and welcome to OrangeJuiceCast, episode I don't know. Sometimes when I like to wipe my bum, I like to use one-ply toilet paper, so that when the paper rips, I sometimes give myself a little treat. I'm Jazz.
This is still the first take, you have time to say the end title. Fuck, I just pressed back.
I'm Jazz, and I'm joined by my two guests.
Otis?
Okay, how many times? The format is I'm joined by my two guests and you say the names.
No!
You say Otis and he says hello, and then you say Matt, and I'm
Keep
like, hey,
this
yeah.
in.
Fine. I'm joined by Otis
Famous 8-bit artist Octosi.
and Matt.
Hello!
Is that fine?
It's
Did we
great.
do it? We're talking about the games we
I just think
played.
it's a better way.
Oh,
Just a better way to do
I
it.
hate my life.
We're talking about the games that we played in 2018. Most of which came out in 2018, but some of them, we have a few surprises for you. Old games that we were fucking lazy to buy.
That's very true. Where do you want to start, boys? What game should we start with?
I think we should start at the very beginning of the year. Let's send ourselves back
Yeah.
to February, because nothing came out in January. And I think
Did Celeste come out in January?
it might have done, actually.
It did.
Celeste came out in January.
Should we start with Celeste?
Let's start with
I didn't
Celeste.
play Celeste, so you guys can just
I did.
have a little fab.
I played Celeste, but not in January, even though it came out then. I played it right at the end of the year and loved it.
I played
Absolutely
Celeste in
fucking
January
loved
too.
it.
Cool.
Really convoluted. Well, not convoluted is the wrong word. The story is the most ham-fisted thing you'll ever hear in your life.
I 100% agree.
There is no metaphor. There is no kind of subtext. There is literally, isn't depression bad, guys?
It's no subtext, it's text.
It's
just
text.
straight up.
Isn't depression bad?
Yeah.
And having depression, that's bad. And
Yeah.
if you just try, you'll get better.
Yeah.
It's kind of the story.
Pretty
it
much.
doesn't really go deeper than that. They do kind of. I mean,
The bit that I
the
was...
most kind of storytelling they do is there's long portions of the game where there's like a mirror version of yourself
Yes.
which says all the bad things. Do you get it? Because it's almost like there's
She
two
hate
boys.
each other.
Get it? Because it's
Oh.
almost like inside of everyone there's negative thoughts.
So you're saying this is your favourite game?
However, after I said all that, it is brilliant. I think it's amazing. No fluff. You start, you go. There's a little bit where Bird tells you what the jump button is, and apart from that, it's just like here's your levels.
I
you
liked
just
a
go.
lot of the platform. The controls and the gameplay is very tight.
Yep.
It feels very satisfying. It's difficult, but it has adjustable difficulty settings, which are fucking genius. Because who cares? The game's not about, oh, I'm so good at games. It's about, this is a platformer where if you're not that good, fine. There's no loss for not being that good.
You start off kind of just like, what the fuck am I supposed to do here? Like, how is this even fucking possible? But quickly enough, you get into like, it's one of those games where you get into like a flow state, and similar of like that Doom 2016 that I've spoken about before. But that might come up later. But there's games, people will know what I'm talking about. There's games where like you kind of almost zone out and you're just in like a flow, and it's just you can't break it because you're in a flow and it's all going well, and you feel it in the rhythm and stuff. It's definitely one of those games once you get going and you're running just left to right and you're reacting to shit coming up. And you're looking ahead and it's just like double jump off the wall, fucking
Very,
through this
very
bit up,
satisfying
down, slip that thing up. Yeah, it's really good. I'll say, I think. I like the idea of having the strawberries as like they're optional, and if you get them, you get different endings and stuff.
It's like bandages and meat or something.
Sure. It literally is, yes.
Yeah.
But some of these strawberry placements are just completely ridiculous, completely insane. And I do get it, but I feel like if it was like, oh, strawberries unlock stuff which allows you to get little things, I wouldn't mind it so much. But they cut off a large kind of the ending, I believe.
It's like the half of the level.
I believe there's quite a lot of content behind these strawberries.
Yeah.
And it's actually because the strawberries are like, if I remember, are like kind of different levels which are just kind of batshit crazy. And sometimes when you're playing Celeste, you do feel like this is great, but this is very much the same thing over and over again with increasing difficulty, and they chuck in a few more new elements.
Sure.
Sometimes you're like, yeah, wouldn't it be crazy just do like a fun level where they just do something fun, but you kind of can't because walled off by strawberries.
Well, you can do it on a lower difficulty as well. But
Yeah.
yeah, I liked it, didn't love it. I thought the story was way too ham-fisted, especially because I played Thomas Was Alone about a day before, and it's another emotion platformer.
Yeah.
Which is I saw like everyone was like, oh, Gree or whatever it's called. It's amazing, and I was like, well, it's gonna be a platformer where it's all about depression and sadness. Like, no offense, I've seen it before.
You bring up this emotion platform thing like it's a thing that I've never heard it before.
There's a lot of them.
I
Walking Simulator is an emotion platform.
I do know what you mean.
I know what you mean, but yeah.
And I thought that the levels went on for a bit too long, in my opinion. Like the first 2 stages, real great. Then they get too long that they clearly just thought thought of ideas for the platforming bits, but they'd already used up a lot of the gameplay gimmick, and it's like, okay, I'm ready for something new.
Yes.
Give me something new now. But it's just a little bit. It just needs a little bit of trimming.
Listen, I felt this, especially towards the later levels and towards the end of the later levels.
Yes.
Because the levels get longer.
Yes.
And sometimes it's like, oh my god, like because obviously the difficulty is very high. There's no real problem with like it's not like it does the Super Meat Boy thing where you die and it takes you back and respawn.
It's straight
not
away.
straight classic for a loot screen. But sometimes you're just like, oh my god, this is a slog.
Yeah.
This level is a slog.
Yes.
But actually, what I like about it is that although the actual story itself played out through cutscenes and dialogue text is just really like ham-fisted, depression's bad but you can overcome it, it actually kind of does tell a better story in my opinion. The whole game is climbing a mountain, if people don't know, and each level select as you go up the mountain.
Yeah.
So it does actually give you that feeling of, you slog through this level, this long fucking level, long hard level, you die, you die, you die.
Sure.
And towards the end of this level you think to yourself like, oh, like, is this even worth it? I can't be bothered. And it's a slog. And then you finish it and you're like, hey, I did it. Now maybe I can do the next one. Right? And it kind of tells that story of climbing a mountain way better than it ever did in text and cutscene.
Sure. Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I actually kind of like it, the fact that the end of these levels are a slog.
But I mean, I know a game that
and
did that better, and that's Dark Souls.
Yeah, I was about to say, you saying
You ever
that
played Dark
dying
Souls,
over
Matt?
and over again and then overcoming the challenge, like, that sounds like a good,
You ever
good
played
idea
Dark
as
Souls, Matt?
gameplay, right?
And so at the end of these Celeste levels, like especially some of these hard ones, and how pressure intensive they are and how like accurate and precise you need to be, you feel tired. Like, oh fuck, like that took shit out of me to get through that. And that actually parallels really well with the theme of like climbing the mountain and stuff.
Sure.
Way better than it. Like there's some cutscenes where like there's like a feather and you have to like hold the X
you
button
blow it or
and
something.
you have to blow it and like so like you're breathing steady and stuff. And but
Fine.
all of this is kind of really diegetic and it doesn't tell the story anywhere near as good as the actual gameplay it does.
Correct.
So the cutscenes and text and all the side caps and stuff didn't really leave me with too much. But the feeling of slogging through each level and then slogging through this mountain climb really went well hand in hand. I really loved it. I think it was my favourite game last year. That came out last year. I think
Big
it was.
words.
Really loved it. Everyone play it. It looks amazing.
I haven't played it because it's too expensive.
It is very expensive.
I guess.
I'll wait for it to be like £3.
Speaking of games that make you get over depression, I played Bloodborne last year.
Are we jumping straight into Bloodborne?
Absolutely, we do, because I need another 10 minutes to talk about Bloodborne.
Yeah, Matt can like sit out for the next 50 minutes.
No, Matt needs to listen to how good Bloodborne
Yeah,
is.
he listens to this part.
Bloodborne, when I first played it, I thought Bloodborne was excellent. Top 30, top 25 material. When
There's something missing.
When you gave me the Old Hunters DLC and made me play through the whole game again,
Twice.
it's now top 7.
Top 7.
It's
Top 7.
just
What a
behind
specific
Dark Souls.
number.
It's so good. It's so good.
It's so good.
Bloodborne is so good.
It's so
It-
good.
It's so good.
It's so good.
It's unbelievably good. Like, it's like Dark Souls comes out and it's, a gameplay revolution. Changes the face of the gaming market.
Yeah.
Dark Souls 2 comes out. Well, they're trying to do a Ghostbusters. They're trying to flash in a pan.
It's
Ain't
not a
happening.
bad game. It's not a good
It's fine.
Dark Souls game.
Compared to a lot of games, it's way better than them. But yeah, then Bloodborne comes out. The story, the setting, the new twist on mechanics, the fucking bosses, the music. It's just mwah,
Yeah, it's
mwah.
the thing with Miyazaki games is they're always a response to the previous game. Where Dark Souls, like Demon Souls, you're basically shielding all the time and you can parry everything because it's easy as fuck.
Yeah.
Dark Souls, you know, we all know Dark Souls.
We all
You end up rolling all the time.
Yeah.
So then Miyazaki's like, everyone's rolling all the time. Let's make the roll fast as fuck and the combat fast as fuck.
Yeah, and then enemies like in Dark Souls 2 just like snap onto you, like spin around
Ignore
at
Dark
fucking
Souls.
180 degrees.
So I'm looking forward to Sekiro, but Old Hunters.
Old Hunters is
there's
the
something
best.
missing in not Dark Souls, Bloodborne, as I said. There's like, it seems like there's the blueprint for the game.
Sure. The
Like-
chalice dungeons are crap.
Yeah,
They're just
shouldn't have spent
cookie
so much
cutter
time.
bollocks, which is so an antithesis to Bloodborne and Dark Souls in that it's crafted, excellent, exquisite level design. Instead of generic cut and paste stuff, that's so weird and out of place. But yeah, Bloodborne is a masterpiece, start to finish. And then it's like the Old Hunters DLC is like, oh, there's a fucking backside to this painting, and it's so good.
Yeah, it's
the best. It's the best.
It's hard to talk about because it's perfect.
Just play it. It's perfect.
Just play it. It's perfect.
Matt, just play it. It's perfect.
Is it better than Dark Souls 1?
Well,
No.
Speaking of
If
Dark
no
Souls
one's
1,
no one's played a Souls
Speaking
game.
of Dark
Hey,
Souls
yeah,
1,
yeah.
Dark
What's
Souls
the-
Remastered came out last year.
Dark Souls
Souls
just
Remastered.
saying. I remember when Bloodborne first came out on PS4, which was 12,000 years ago. So this podcast is very relevant.
2015.
But I actually remember a lot during the time of people saying that it had massive fucking issues. Like obviously, because I've been playing on PS4, lads, had massive issues on PS4, and the loading times were absolutely fucking
fixed the loading time.
insanely
They fixed the
long.
loading times.
on
I never
PS4.
played it with the loading times.
All these
so-
over? Alright, so here's the question. Let's pretend, I've played a little bit of Dark Souls 1.
Mhm.
You've never played a Dark Souls
Yeah.
before. You've never played a Souls.
You gonna ask which one to play?
Which one do you play first? Dark Souls 1
Dark
or
Souls
Bloodborne?
1.
Dark Souls 1.
Nor Bloodborne.
You can play
It's a
Bloodborne if you
perfect
want.
game, but don't play it first.
You can play
I'm
Bloodborne
just
if
saying,
you
if
want.
you're going to play both, which is the implication
You're
of the
not
question.
going to play both, you're only going to play one.
If
You've
you're only
never
gonna
played
play
the Souls
one-
I would. I mean, you can play Dark Souls 3 for the first time if you want to.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter because the whole game is about there is a big story here,
Right.
but it doesn't
But-
matter because you're your character. You choose to care as much as you
Yeah,
feel
but
like.
you think Dark Souls 1 is better than 3.
I do, yes.
So
yeah.
you
I
would
think-
never recommend 3 over 1.
No.
No, but I wouldn't. It's
Okay.
not. That's not like saying never play 3 because
No,
3 is
yeah,
awesome.
it's
It's in my
enough.
top.
That's-
It's in my top 10.
Fair. So
I wouldn't go that
Bloodborne
far,
or Dark
it's
Souls
alright.
1?
I honestly flip between. Basically, Dark Souls 1 and Bloodborne are my favourite game. And I
Got
flip
it.
between them.
Alright.
It day of the day of the week. There are certain things
So
that Dark Souls
I
does
really
better.
like Lovecraftian, the Lovecraft like elements and the music and everything of Bloodborne, but I don't know. Dark Souls is so revolutionary.
Bloodborne is like, story-wise, it's so deliberately obfuscated that it's kind of hard to get involved in it in a way, which is very intentional with like all the Cthulhu shit and inside and all that.
Oh yeah,
Dark Souls is very like, it's actually quite an emotional story.
Yes.
With a lot of the side quests, it's much easier to get a grasp on because it's just fantasy.
Dark Souls is all about like loss and despair.
Yeah, and
Bloodborne's about
losing your mind. And
Yeah.
despair.
and Bloodborne is about madness and
Ambition.
ambition is definitely a big part of it. I would say like anger.
Yeah,
It's a big part of it.
Especially in the Old Hunters.
Mm.
That's why the Old Hunters is so good. It brings up a lot of the themes that it's sort of hinted at.
Yeah.
Fucking the curse
The
and
bosses
all
are
that.
amazing. There's two problems I have with Bloodborne. That's chalice dungeons, worthless. Get them out of the game.
And the
Not-
base game bosses are kind of like, there's no real standout except like Gammon.
German's
And
fantastic. Logarius is really good. I don't know. I like some of them. Like
Yeah, they're not bad. Like there's no real.
they're
bad
not. They're not
ones.
like Orange Demon Smough.
Yeah, it's not
Amazing. They're not like
Artorias.
Pontiff Sullivan, Soul of Cinder. Like real standout bosses.
Champion.
Champion Gundy.
I did it. I'm not gonna
Grey
find
Wolf
it.
Sith.
I did like a tier list, and like the top tier was, for me, was fucking Ludwig.
Ludwig is amazing.
Ludwig,
I think Lady Maria is higher for me.
Ludwig, Manus, Maria, ONS. I can't remember the other one. It was probably. Who was it?
Anyway.
But yeah,
They're amazing.
Basically, most of the good bosses are in the Old Hunters.
Sure.
Good value for money.
Yeah. But the other problem I have with Bloodborne is that the health healing items are finite.
That's only really...
You can farm them.
That's why I'd recommend playing Dark Souls 1 over Bloodborne for the first game in the series.
Because I think the Estus is such a perfect system.
It can put you off having to grind, and you probably will have to.
But it's just like, if you're bad at the game, it will compound you being bad at the game.
Yeah.
Which is... I mean, that does suck. I mean, it's good that I'm not awful, but...
Yeah.
I can imagine it would be a problem for a lot more people.
Yeah, it was a problem the first time I played it. Every other time, it's never been an issue.
Yes, yes, I agree. But it's one of those things of like, you didn't need to do that. I don't understand why
you could have had
like
at least like you start with a minimum every time.
Sure.
Shit like
yes. That. Yeah. If that's all they needed to fix it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's very easy places to farm, so it's not.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, play Bloodborne. Play Bloodborne.
The Door Calls.
Play Dark Souls 1 remastered on Switch. Play Dark Souls 3. Play Sekiro because it's going to be great.
Copies.
Probably.
I own 3 copies of Bloodborne. So.
Yeah, I own 2.
Since we just mentioned it, I'm going to say Dark Souls Remastered is my favourite game of 2018. That came out in 2018.
Well, Dark Souls Remastered is the best game of the year.
It's the best game. It's the best game of all time.
It's obviously because Dark Souls. So it's an upgrade from Dark Souls. So. It's the best game of all time.
Obviously. So we don't have to continue.
What changes did they make gameplay-wise?
None.
Is that
they added one bonfire.
That's correct.
Which is actually quite helpful.
Yes, that's correct.
What else did they do? They did do some other stuff.
They map some of the buttons differently if you want to.
Oh yeah, you can remap them. Oh yeah, you can click jump. That's fucking
brilliant. Yeah. All the small changes they did in Dark Souls 3 just.
Were there not more changes that they could have made?
They
should have made?
Yeah, they should have taken the better chaos out and fucking thrown it in the trash.
Yeah,
but they didn't because, you know.
It's a remaster, not a remake.
Yeah, they should have fired the bloke who worked on Watch Dogs.
No, they probably did.
They probably did fire him. Okay, yeah. So by the game of the year, 2018, 17, 16.
Game of the year for the
forever.
Last
it's the game of the year next year. So
yeah, that's fine.
Unless Sekiro's the best, so.
Oh yeah, we've already done that. Looking forward to it.
Me too.
Can't wait for those mandatory stealth sections. Even fucking FromSoft can't stay away.
Mandatory since.
They will be.
No. Nothing's mandatory.
If you've never played the Dark Souls game, you can't comment on FromSoft.
Yeah, there's loads of stealth sections in Dark Souls.
Yeah.
You just run through the enemies. Okay, next game.
So, played a lot of this. Don't have too much to say.
Oh no, FIFA 19.
I'll bring it up. Mario and Rabbids Kingdom Battle.
Oh, really?
Remember that?
I
remember.
Do you remember that? The XCOM Mario and Rabbids crossover game.
I never played
for the Switch. So I got a Switch late last year. So I'm catching up on stuff. Thought I'd get this because it's like 40% off on eShop, like 20 quid or something. Like, yeah, give that a go. Download it. Here's the thing. I think it's actually really, really tight gameplay-wise. I think it's really kind of feels good. The fights feel good. Nothing seems crazily overbalanced, overpowered or useless. The gameplay loop itself during the fights is really good. It's really polished. However, what I will say is the game is like almost too polished in the sense that there's no risk here in any way, shape or form at all. You think that doing a big, it's Mario and Rabbids and it's made by Ubisoft and they're getting hold of the Mario license with permission from Nintendo. I know Nintendo oversaw it or had some hand, but like it's Ubisoft doing what they want with Mario and their own IP. You think, considering this is very much a spin-off, even more spun off than like a sports game, someone else is making a Mario game, effectively, right? Yeah. You'd think that they do a load of fucking batshit crazy shit with Mario.
Actually, I would think the opposite. I think it'd be the safest. They don't want to fuck with that license at all.
You'd think that they'd be able to, Ubisoft would put their own spin on this and they'd do crazy stuff and they'd be nuts and Mario would be doing crazy stuff. But it's really not. It's really like, first level's the Mushroom Kingdom and then it's the Sand World, and then it's Ice World.
Is it ending the volcano?
And then and then there's Bowser, and you gotta stop Bowser because Peach. Yeah. I mean, you play as Peach. It's not, but it's different. The story's different, but it's basically the same thing. So because of that, it's really just like there's nothing amazing about it. The actual gameplay loop is really polished, and there's like they could have done more with this. And some of the fights and some of the bosses are quite clever of how you have to go about it. But apart from that, like it's really like plain.
I've heard it's fine.
It's
I've heard
really
it's like
plain.
watered down XCOM.
The only issue I have with tactic games like that is that there's a very fine line when tactics games are so sort of streamlined that they verge into being less tactics and more like a straight up puzzle that you have to solve.
Yes.
If you know what I mean, like Fire Emblem Heroes.
Fire Emblem does that.
Yeah.
It usually is. Here's a map of enemies that sometimes spawn out of nowhere. You get fucked, so you just reload the thing. And then sometimes it has like really nicely designed maps where it's like, oh, you have all your guys here and then one person you have to move it about to solve a puzzle sort of thing. It's like those are interesting, but XCOM and what I've seen from Mario Rabbids is very much like it seems a lot easier.
I do know what you mean though. It does feel less like reacting to things and trying to create a tactic depending on what the AI is doing, and a bit more like, oh, so there's one optimal way to kind of do this, right? And figure it out.
Sure.
Which isn't bad. You still need to figure it out. It's definitely not handholdy. You can definitely like lose and get your ass kicked in this if you completely don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, of course. That's good.
But I do know what you mean. Also, by the way, in between these fights is sliding block puzzles and step on the switch.
Not playing that.
Right?
Well,
They're just like, I get like, hey, have some downtime.
you have to
have some downtime between the fights, but it's sliding block puzzles under no like pressure or time or anything. And like step on the switch and do some switch puzzles.
Okay.
Not fan of that.
Yeah,
At least Fire Emblem is a dating sim.
it's not great. I actually wonder, because of how kind of risk-free it all is, that they just stuck the levels back to back to back, and it was just like, it's just like an onslaught of shit coming at you, and every 10 seconds you get a new partner in,
and you can upgrade.
And there's a new enemy type, and because all the upgrades and the skill tree is actually quite fun, with all the different stuff you can do with each person, with each character. So I wonder if it was just back to back to back, it would just be like an insane onslaught of new things you're learning every 10 seconds, and the game ends, and you're just full on. But instead, it's like you do a fight, and it does the Mario thing where it introduces like an enemy type, and you just kill it instantly on the first fight. Then on the second fight, it does a bit more of them. On the third fight, it does a little twist, right? Which is all great, but like it almost feels like the first two fights are just like kind of nothing. In between those fights, you're doing sliding block puzzles and hit the switch corrects to move things. And the third one, it's like, oh, I get this now, and that kind of felt really good. But then it drags a bit.
Sure.
And it's not interesting enough to warrant it.
The most out there thing about it is the title.
Yeah, but like it's surprisingly really well made, really well polished. Especially for it was a launch game, right?
No.
Was it not launch?
No.
It was soon after?
It was soon after.
Anyway, like
I'm surprised. I will be surprised if we don't see something in a similar vein coming up.
it's not bad. You pick it up and you play it, and you're like, this is fine. This is good. I can't really, But then you put it down, and it doesn't give you much reason to pick it back up again.
I mean, Ubisoft behind it. I mean, it's an interesting idea, and it's like. Almost like it's advertising XCOM to me. It's like, oh, if you like this, you'll like XCOM, but XCOM's nothing to do with. So
that was also
strange.
the thing. Like, it's like, oh, Nintendo's doing not Nintendo. Sorry, Ubisoft is doing an XCOM, and there's Mario in it, which is kind of batshit crazy enough. And you think like you're in for a wild ride here. Even if it's bad, it might just be a wild ride of what the fuck did Ubisoft do to Mario, right? But no, it's all very safe and very which is fine. And like I said, if you play it, it's fine, but it's not like, oh my god, I can't put this down.
Guys, I didn't come onto this podcast to talk about Mario and Rabbids.
I'm done with that.
So,
what did you?
That's a good segue though into a similar game, which is called Into the Bitch.
Oh,
what? Into the Breach. Sorry, I mispronounced that. Sorry.
A new game by the developer of FTL, for people who don't know.
And they put that phrase from the developer of FTL bigger than the title itself.
Damn right, I would fucking do that because who fucking cares about
this? And the
game?
reason for that is, as I said in the last one, there's a fine line between tactical games and puzzle games, and this kind of verges more into the puzzle thing because you're not really reacting. Well, you are reacting to what they do, but it's like you have to do this or you're fucked. Basically.
Yes. Yeah. It's nowhere near in depth as FTL. I mentioned it's a game. It's like the NES game where you have to push things on sliding box into
I remember
water.
what it's called, but yeah.
It's
I really like the pushing mechanics and all that stuff, and like how you know what they're going to do and you're just preventing it from happening.
Yes.
I really like that a lot. The main thing that makes it fail, especially in comparison to FTL, is the lack of randomness, the lack of roguelike elements. You're just doing the same shit every time.
And it's the same maps.
Yeah,
the
it's
same
the
maps.
It's the exact same maps.
Barely distinguished robots.
Yeah.
Even after you beat it and get new upgrades, it's barely distinguished.
Yeah.
The random items you get aren't random enough because they just have very small changes.
Yeah.
Whereas if you get the fucking flak cannon,
cannon.
it's like, oh my god! In this, it's like you get the punch which launches a square away sometimes, which could be useful sometimes maybe. It's like, okay, well,
yeah, there's
not really any customization properly, like.
And because you know what's going to happen, there's no like hype clutch moments as you do in FTL, where like you have one bar left, oh fuck, and you kill the.
You can pretty much
flak
predict
cannon
what
comes
the
out.
battle will be before it happens.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's
exactly what I'm
it's
talking
very
about.
forgettable. It's very forgettable.
And yeah, it's just a shame. You're going to have to compare it to FTL every time because they are comparing it to FTL themselves.
Yeah.
And it's not going to leave.
FTL is one of the best indie games ever made.
Yeah.
Probably one of the best games ever made.
Straight up.
And yet, Into the Breach is such a wet.
I don't dislike it at all, but I have no interest in playing it.
Me too. Speaking of games that were made by indie developers who had a previous hit and then went on to make another game, I'm talking about Return of the Obra Dinn.
Oh, okay, sure. I was going to say
made by Lucas Pope, who made Papers, Please. Return of the Obra Dinn's amazing.
I heard good things.
You should play it.
I've seen
it's
it.
fucking amazing.
I've got it, I'll play it.
It's all about discerning how people died on a ship and who they are. And you get snapshots of all their deaths. And the story goes way weirder than you think it would. And it's really good. It's great. Stylish, great, fun, excellent. I can't say much more about it because it will spoil anything.
Yeah.
But it's very good. Very, 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 very good. Play it.
Yeah, I will.
Thank you, Lucas Pope, you genius.
Speaking of indie hits that had a sequel this year,
Here we go.
Lethal League.
Lethal
I didn't know we were
League.
going there.
Lethal League.
Lethal
Damn
League
fucking
Blaze.
right.
Lethal League Blaze. It's fucking
Good. It's fucking amazing. It's Pong, but a fighting game.
Yeah.
And it's great. And you can play as a sweaty black man with a ping pong paddle.
Yes. Well, he's not sweaty.
He looks
He
sweaty.
might be sweaty. And you can also play as Captain Falcon and also Candyman.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, it's Pong, but with meter and stuff like that.
Yes.
And it's fucking sick. Blaze improved a lot of things. It added a lot of new features, such as parrying and parry countering.
And throwing.
Yeah, well, that is what parry countering is basically. But it's like
so in depth for a little game of Pong.
Yeah, it's easy as fuck to pick up, hard as fuck to master.
Yes,
and that's the thing that a lot of fighting games really struggle.
Good master game.
A lot of fighting games these days actively trying, like Street Fighter 5 and other games.
Sure.
Trying to be simple, and yet in depth. And Lethal League is the only thing that sort of really nails that down without going too far one way or the other.
Yes. I love the soundtrack as well.
Oh, great soundtrack, great aesthetic.
And it's really fun if you just want to play with your mates.
Yeah.
It's a great little fun game.
Like, even though
and if you really want to play hard, you can fucking do that if you want to.
Yeah, it's always going to be fun. It's always fun.
Yes.
I got blisters playing it.
Yeah, but that's because you rubbed your knob on the fucking controller.
It was hard not
That's
to.
because your hands are dry as fuck!
Sweaty boy.
Speaking of fighting games that try to be simple and appeal to a wider audience, Dragon Ball Fighters!
Who do you reckon are the... This is more relevant now because we have two new characters as Jiren, who I said would be in the game.
Yes.
And, I mean, we didn't get Hercule Satan. We got his daughter, but whatever.
Just to preface this, last year the game came out, I really liked it, Matt didn't like it too much, I kept playing it. I got a power level higher than Frieza, and then I stopped playing after that.
I thought it was really fun. I like the story because it's goofy and fan fiction.
It's good mechanics, it is a simple fighting game, but it's still a fucking anime fighting game, so people who are fucking dumb aren't going to be able to get into it unless you really, really like Dragon Ball.
I checked out on the anime side, on the anime fighting side. I thought it looked... Okay, first of all, it looks absolutely amazing.
It looks awesome.
It's probably like the best looking game ever made.
It's so good.
It is the cartoon.
Yeah.
It has the Ginyu Force in it as well. So
I know it's anime, but because it's tag team 3 and 3, you immediately think like Marvel vs. Capcom
Mhm.
3. And I did like that game, but there were problems I had with that, which actually Dragon Ball did a lot to fix. I really, really like Dragon Ball how you start neutral after you get KO, and it prevents kind of, in Marvel vs. Capcom 3, it became a point towards the end of that game anyway, where after you get KO, you always know when the opposition character tags in
you
next,
just fucked up.
and you just have like, you can just start a mix up on them as they come in.
Yeah.
So if you just lost the character, your new character comes in, it's like you have to
You're at a way big
you have to block
disadvantage.
you have to block immediately, and if you guess wrong, you're fucked.
Unless you play Virgil and activate X Factor, am I right?
Right.
Am I right?
So,
Alright, you fucking nerds.
very exciting and thoughtful that they sort of fix some of these issues where you carry the character, it starts neutral. There's a lot really cool about it. It's just, it's very, very full on. All like the fucking air dodges and short air dodges and instant air dodges and stuff. You know what I'm talking
The
about?
main problem for me is it's very homogenized. There's no real difference between all of the characters.
Correct.
All of the normals are basically all the same across the board. The only thing that are different are specials, and since it's only quarter circles, there's not even much variation in that.
Yeah.
The game, shortly after I stopped playing it seriously, it became a touch of death thing, where you need to have a team that has a touch of death. But you only get, not unlike Marvel, you only get one touch of death per game because you only get sparking ones. So there's that. I don't really mind that too much. All the competitions are pretty fun to watch, but it feels like the game hasn't progressed as a meta much. Like when I played Smash 4, it was like new things were being discovered all again. If you watch the beginning of Smash 4 towards the end of Smash 4, it's like a completely fucking different game.
It is, yeah.
But whereas
they do
like,
patches and all the characters to make them different, and they add different text that they can learn.
Yeah. So and this is being patched as well to make it a bit more neutral heavy, especially in the most recent one. But it feels like it's less about progressing the game and changing it more than just optimizing combos basically.
Sure.
And getting optimal teams and shit. So I don't mind it at all. It's a lot of fun to play, especially when you fucking beat the shit out of everyone.
There is one problem though,
What's that?
because from the entire roster of Dragon Ball, you have
Yeah.
Goku, Blue Goku, Dad Goku, older Goku, Vegeta and Goku, Super Saiyan Goku,
And Vegeta and Goku again?
Vegeta and Goku Blue,
Evil Goku.
Evil Goku, fucking Son Goku.
I actually think this goes hand in hand with the idea that a lot of the characters, even though they're all Dragon Ball and they all should all do their own thing, a lot of the characters do feel very samey, and characters are the same.
Here's
You
the
know
thing
what I
though,
mean?
the Gokus are all really fucking different from
Yeah.
each other, which is weird.
Like, okay, who are the two new characters?
Is it wait, just a question, because I didn't see how this develops later on. Is that Vegeta assist still like different to all the other assists?
They nerfed it, so before it locked you down, now you can reflect it.
Right, okay. So there was like all the assists are sort of similar, apart from this Vegeta one, which fucking locks you down.
Yeah, you need
and it's like, you need this. This is so different.
Yeah.
And it goes hand in hand with a lot of characters all feeling kind of samey, and you can kind of switch them out for each other. There's a bit of like, why would you play this when you can just play this?
Sure.
Yeah.
Right? It's the same, almost the same character, but this one is just better. Which really, in any sort of fighting game where you have any sort of fighting game at all, everyone should be. Obviously, you can't balance a game ever so perfectly that everyone is always viable at all times, to the same degree. But there should always be a case of, oh, this character you would use over this one for these reasons.
Sure.
Which I think early Dragon Ball there wasn't a lot of.
Sure.
The thing that kind of spoiled the game a lot is the fact that all of Season 1 got leaked as soon as the game
Immediately,
came out.
yeah.
And it was just like, there was no hype for the rest of the year. And this year,
They announced 4 new characters straight away.
Yeah, and there's only
2 of them was shit. Sorry, I don't want Gogeta Super Saiyan Blue. Who fucking cares? I don't want another Broly.
We haven't seen the Broly
fuck
film.
that.
Maybe
No, but
we do
yeah,
want
maybe,
Broly.
but fuck that. I'm sorry. You have all this shit you can draw from. Videl and Jiren, great.
Yeah.
Those are characters people wanted.
Yeah.
But then you've got like, okay, who are the 2 last characters? If one of them isn't Roshi, I'll be actually fucking annoyed. And then you've got like, I don't know, you could have so many other characters for the other one. You could have Korin, you could have fucking Zabora and Gabora, or whatever the fuck their name is, Dodoria. You could have, you've got Cooler, Mr. Popo, fucking Mr. Popo. You can't have Mr. Popo. You can't deal with fly very well. You can't have Mr. Popo. Like, you know, you could have Tao Pai Pai, like all these like obscure
also,
characters.
unless it's
Dr.
changed-
Giro.
Unless it's changed, which you can tell me, the arcs, the animation, what the fucking animation is
Sure.
called?
Toei
Foxes.
Animation. Toei Animation.
Oh,
Animation.
Toei. Oh, right.
Toei
yeah.
fucking over every tournament that isn't Bandai
Yeah.
Namco sponsored is absolutely ridiculous.
You know, they nearly
And
caused an
it's-
international incident in Mexico because they streamed the last episode of Dragon Ball Super live,
Yeah.
and they were like, "Take this down, or else we're
No, they went to
fucking-"
the Japanese government and got the Japanese government to contact the Mexican government to tell them off.
Yeah,
Fucking crazy.
Anyway.
because Mexicans love the Jiren fight.
Just if people don't know,
El Hermano.
if people don't know, what is common in fighting games is that whoever made the game funds, unless you're Nintendo because they ain't a fuck, funds a huge
they funded
fu-
Genesis,
funds
No, they
funds-
just sponsor it.
They sponsor
Put
it.
their name on it.
funds huge tournaments with big prize pools they set up, and there's like they showcase their game.
Yeah.
But this is once or twice a year maybe.
Well,
right?
not sure.
Not even that. It's
Oh.
the fact that the fighting games started off as such a grassroots thing.
Right.
Like, fuck the developers. Like, if you just want to get some people together and play fighting games and like have a prize pool,
Yeah.
Toei aren't gonna fucking let you.
Yeah. So here's the thing.
So weird.
If you're not specifically ran by Bandai Namco, and you just want to run a Street Fighter tournament with 30 of your friends or your schoolmates, and you want to stream it, Toei's like, no, you can't do this. You
Yeah.
cannot.
I don't think they
Fighter
go
Z,
that
not
far,
not
but,
not
like,
Street Fighter.
for like
Sorry, Dragon
Yeah.
Fighter Z.
for big tournaments. Yeah, they are clearly dipping their fingers into it. Even though they
Absolutely.
say they're not. They're fucking
Absolutely,
so off
absolutely
the
up. It's really dumb. It's really weird.
Yeah.
But
So-
yeah, I'm glad that we got this, and Jump Force is going to be dreadful, but it has Jotaro and Dio in it, so
Oh, that's
we've all bought it. We all had to buy it.
Yeah.
As soon as that Dio screenshot with Zawaldo was there, we had to buy it. So just
Since we've just mentioned the fighting game, can I briefly assess the
I was
other
actually
ones I've played?
going to rattle off a load of games that I
It's
played
just,
and didn't want to
Because
talk about.
neither of you played them, I'll just very, very briefly mention them.
Yep.
Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle is the true sequel to Marvel.
Oh really?
I'll say that. Except it's anime as fuck. It's pretty cool. It's also weird as fuck that the entire roster is DLC. Next one, Under Night in Birth EXE Late Square Bracket ST Square Bracket.
Awesome.
This is one of the best fighting games ever made.
And no one plays it.
Yeah, basically.
It sounds
It
like
has-
a fucking Kingdom Hearts.
It has one of the most interesting mechanics in a fighting game I've ever seen, where there's basically a tug of war thing, and it cycles over every 15 seconds. Whoever's winning the tug of war, either by blocking or doing attacks and stuff, basically gets a power up, and they can get access to another set of moves that make them a better character. It's fucking sick. There's so many systems in it. I couldn't get into it because it's too complicated and I fucking suck. Street Fighter 5 is dead.
Fuck
Got
that game. We
PS4.
still haven't got fucking E Honda.
Yeah, just Dark Ryu.
It wasn't even Dark Ryu. There is Dark Ryu. It's like other Dark Ryu.
Yeah, because he's beaten the Dark Kado, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's Cage
So
now.
it's the Kage.
No, it's
but
fucking
it's-
Cage, mate.
Yeah, it's the embodiment of the Hado or something like that. It's not actually Ryu.
Oh, sure. So he's like a vessel. But wasn't
Yeah,
that what
it's like-
Evil Ryu was?
No, Evil Ryu was an alternate timeline Ryu that had succumbed to it, but this is literally.
Oh,
the-
really? I
this
thought
is-
it was
this
like
is the Hado in human form.
that
as
is
far as
that
I'm
is
aware.
dumb. And Violent Ken is obviously the same.
Yeah, but that's not. canon.
What a great what a great name though, Violent Ken.
That's SNK.
Slightly
for you.
perturbed Blanca. Really miffed Zangief.
Upset Honda.
Soul Calibur 6, I can't play 3D fighting games, unfortunately.
Did you see the one where they had Kirby versus like Margin Build?
Yeah,
you could
that-
just,
that's-
like you had
The
Papyrus
character
versus.
creator looks sick.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's all good stuff. Good tits, good ass, all that sort of stuff. There's no Hildegard in it, so I can't play it until that time comes. They did put 2B in it, but we'll get into that.
Oh yeah.
I think that's all the fighting games I played. Street Fighter 30th anniversary, yeah, whatever. Good job.
Okay, I'm gonna rattle off a couple of games that I played. Don't really want to talk about. Dead Cells. Had a load of shit about it.
Yeah.
It was fine. Didn't look very nice, and it played fine. But it was just a bit boring, and it was a pretty shit. It was a roguelite. and I don't like
Randomizing
those.
a Metroidvania misses the point of
Absolutely,
Metroidvania.
100%, and it quickly dies off after that.
Yeah.
And it's all about, did you get the good stuff right early on? No? Oh well. bad
It's like,
luck.
I don't want to throw down a turret, I want a fucking big sword.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
I agree. I played Her Story. Really nice little police game. No real win conditions, but it's just a nice little story that you figure out yourself by typing things into a search bar. It was actually really fun to play with my girlfriend. Easy and compelling. I like it. What else did I play? I played obviously Slay the Spire. I don't think I need to talk in depth about that because
It's not even out yet, right? It's still in like beta, isn't
it's
it?
been in beta for ages. But Slay the Spire is awesome. I sunk a million hours into it.
Yeah.
It's just so easy to play in the background. It's really tactical and in depth, but I spent a lot of it watching anime playing it. It's really good.
Just fucking bring it out in the middle of conversations like, Jazz, for fuck's sake, turn the laptop off.
Sorry. Stop playing.
We're just listing off the mediocre indie games now.
Yeah, pretty much.
Jazz.
Oh, sorry. Here's one. Sexy Brutal.
I hated it.
Dreadful.
I don't know anything about it.
Sexy Brutal. I played the version on Switch. It runs at 2 frames a second,
Yeah.
Cool.
which is awful. And I mean, it's so bad. It's so unbelievably noticeably bad.
Well, the human eye can only see one frame
It's-
every year, so.
It's a puzzle game where you don't know all of the pieces of the puzzle until you've solved the puzzle, sort of.
Correct.
So you never feel clever.
That's
you feel
the
like
way
you've
I
just
feel.
stumbled
I
into
don't
every
know if
answer.
I've mentioned this on a podcast before. To sum up, this is my problem with Sexy Brutality. The first tutorial puzzle is like you look through a door, you see the scenario, you see exactly what happens during the
Yeah.
scenario, then you're like, oh, I need to fix this.
Yeah.
And then you fix it and it gets fixed.
Yeah.
And you're like, I'm so fucking clever.
Yeah.
And then it doesn't say, okay, here's level 2. It then you're just left in the mansion.
Yeah.
So then you have to, and this is in real time, and all 8 or 9 of the murders
Yeah.
are all happening at once. Everyone's dying. There's just shit going off everywhere. Everyone's dying. You don't know what links to what. And eventually you kind of put together a picture of what number 2 is, but you're not sure if is this involved with number 2?
Oh.
Is this random person walking back and forth?
I
in this room?
pressed loads of random buttons and it worked.
Or is this to do with murder 3 and 4, which I'm
Sure.
not trying to solve yet.
Yeah.
And then eventually you kind of solve the puzzle, but you didn't know what the puzzle entirely was in
Yeah.
the first place when you
The
solved
tutorial is better than the entire game.
it. Honestly, if it was like, here's the puzzle, now you go around the mansion and forget about everything else, just solve the thing that
It genuinely
we've asked
needs
you
to
do.
stop you and
Yeah.
show you the entire murder
100%.
to start with.
Put in a cutscene and show me the murder.
Yeah.
Because before it doesn't do that. It, like you look through windows and stuff, but half the time you got to find when the person dies, who the person dies, and how they die.
Yeah.
Half the puzzle is finding out what the puzzle is, and then you have to fix
Yeah.
it.
I was just wait. I was like, oh, there's a fucking thing in this room. So I stayed in it for 8 hours, expecting something to happen. Something did happen in the 8th hour. Fuck that game. It's shit. I don't care. I don't know why people love it. It's awful.
I didn't love. I got halfway through and yeah.
And one more I played is a game called Gorjoa.
Gogora?
There are 4 squares on the screen. The screen
Scream?
made me scream, and you move things about in an artistic game about war. It was nice. It was an emotional puzzler,
Emotion puzzle.
but it was.
It's coming up a lot.
But,
I'm not happy about
you
it.
know-
That was a motion platformer, mate.
Yeah, I know, but
you know,
there's a spin-off now.
it was a good little game.
Yeah.
I recommend
Yeah.
it, but also it didn't have anything of too much substance.
Oh, let's check some letters.
Okay, that's me.
I forgot to mention Pocket Rumble. It's like a GBA
Oh,
fighting
sure,
game
sure.
homage. It's pretty cool. I like it. It hurts my hands, so I can't play it. Slap City.
Oh
I
yes,
think-
Slap
I think,
City.
We all sort of like went, oh, it's Smash. There's a Smash game, and then Smash came out, and you're like, what?
Oh, what?
Slap City? What was that?
It was
It's
funny
just-
enough.
I've actually heard like a lot. Like we played it because obviously the game is a joke.
Yes.
Yeah,
But apparently, if you look past the joke, there's actually quite a lot to it.
yeah, I have heard that.
We kind of played it as a joke, and you're on these crazy stages, and then you jump up as a shark and throw dumbbells at people.
Yeah, you're
Which was-
a big, muscly platypus, and you throw
But
dumbbells.
it was fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had fun.
It definitely, yeah.
It filled the gap between actual Smash.
Indie-wise, Wizard of Legend. It's good gameplay,
Never heard
but
of it.
the theming is boring as fuck. It's literally just like fire level, ice level, grass level. I don't care. It's fun gameplay. You get to mix and match. You get to make builds and stuff. It's fun co-op. I recommend checking it out. It's probably not going to be something you're going to be playing forever, though, like Isaac or some shit.
Mm.
Indie games. Is Mega Man 11 indie?
Yeah, let's talk about Mega Man 11.
Do we have to?
Better luck next time.
I thought you loved this.
I thought it was fine.
Alright, fair.
Level's too long.
So they fixed a lot. They did a load of new things, which is exactly what the games needed.
And they're pretty
but
good things.
They're pretty
the
great
gear
things.
system is really good.
The
I
things
like
they
it.
tried new, which I was expecting not to like, I liked the most.
Yeah.
And the stuff they kept from the old games was so fucking outdated. It felt weird.
Yeah.
So they got cutscenes, voice acting, new graphics. They look nice. They look pleasant. It's fine. Whatever. It's something new.
It's not terrible.
I would have preferred they remade X, or like did an X game.
Yeah.
But nice enough. The gear system is like a risk-reward thing where you can either be more powerful or you can slow down time. And they build that into the level design so that you need to use it in certain points, and it's actually really well implemented.
Yep.
And it thematically works as well throughout the game. But the level design is 8,000 years long because they think that it's a new game, bigger 3D or whatever. Need to make it longer. No, because you kept the life system this antiquated nonsense. So you spend all of your money you earn throughout the game on lives because you're gonna die in this hard game, and it just shorten those levels down. And if the levels were long but interesting, that'd be good. But they're just all things that have happened in previous Mega Man games.
All of the interesting things come from the gear stuff rather than fucking Bouncy Man or whatever.
Oh look, fire that follows you throughout the stage. I've seen that before.
Yeah.
Oh look, water stages where there's a flow. I've seen that before.
What they really need to do is do this. If they're gonna keep doing this fucking shit, is they need to do the same thing they did with Mega Man 9 for Mega Man X.
Yes.
That's what they need to do.
That's exactly what I want. I want an X.
An X. What
X squared.
What did they get up to on X?
8, 7. I think they got up to 7, so it'd be 8.
So like 9. X Reloaded 1, and then X.
No, just call it X8.
Yeah,
X Retribution.
Yeah.
X Revengeance.
So better luck next time. I appreciate they tried new things, but I really felt tired.
Speaking of
And
better
then
luck,
shit soundtrack. It's a shit soundtrack.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Sorry,
unforgivable.
unforgivable. A Mega Man game with a non-good soundtrack. Unfucking forgivable.
Speaking of better luck next time, Deltarune.
Oh
Yeah.
really? I actually haven't played it yet.
I really liked Deltarune.
Should you be in the room? Because I know you're a big.
I do love
F1.
myself.
I'll try and keep it as spoiler-free.
For the viewers at home.
I want
They did a new story with sort of new characters for the most part.
Well, they make you think that it's a new thing entirely. It seems to be sort of connected to Undertale, but then at the end it's like, here's Sans, here's fucking
Grillby.
here's Azrael.
Yeah, and it's completely unnecessary, and it takes you way out of the small little story they
Really
crafted.
jarring.
The stuff that they actually craft to be its own thing is really good. The twists on the mechanics I liked a lot. It's clearly a demo.
It's a demo.
It's a demo, so you know.
Even by the end of it, you start to get like, okay, I've seen everything you've done. I don't know what else you can do with this system. Like, there's no like variation as there was in Undertale and all that.
I don't know. I liked what they did, but there wasn't.
Yeah,
it
it's
was
cool.
very much like this is a literal demo for something we can make much grander and bigger.
Yeah,
And I know that he can do some cool stuff with it.
Yeah, I wish he'd do something completely different rather than just build off of it. And I fucking hate the ending so much.
Yeah,
The
just
stupid
leave
fucking
Undertale
ending.
alone. Just like you've done it. Make something different.
Yeah, he's prequeling it basically. It's like,
Not
how-
really. It's prequel, sequel.
No, I mean
Good
Star Wars prequeling it.
Star Wars
It's like
prequeling
we know he's gonna become Darth Vader.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
don't give a fuck.
Yeah. I agree.
I don't hate it. It's free. I mean, good job. Play it seriously.
It is free.
Yeah.
It is free, and it's I
And
think
he didn't have to do it.
I think it's interesting, and if he gets a team behind it, it could be a fucking real experience.
It could be, however, Undertale is a game which is definitely made. And
It's a flash in the pan.
It is good as it is because one man had all control over it. And anytime someone's like, "Oh, you get a team," there problems can arise from that.
Yeah. It probably won't even come out.
Well, yeah, I mean, this game hasn't come out for like 4 years.
Yeah.
It's not going to come out for 8 years. I genuinely think it won't come out for 8 years.
That's the thing with Mother Bang games, right? They never come out.
Oh my god, Mother 4, where is that? That was meant to be out like 2015.
They haven't updated anything for like 3 years.
Have they not?
No.
No one's working on that.
Maybe they are.
They were like 60% done with it.
Yeah, I know. I don't know.
But they were at their demos and stuff, and it was pretty good.
Basically, I'm saying if you play Undertale, you should play Mother 3.
My other 3. Best game of the year.
Game of the year.
I'll play a few online games this next.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the full experience.
I don't really want to talk about Octopath Traveler because it's stinky poo poo
It's
wee
a
wee.
stinky shit ball bag.
I don't understand why people are hailing it as this return to form. It's a step back and a dump on your own face.
I can't stress, this game was literally targeted towards me because Final Fantasy VI is my favourite game ever. They kept saying, this is the fucking spiritual successor to Final Fantasy VI.
It screamed Otis.
And
buy this.
Buy
this, Otis.
I picked Tressa at the start, which is a really good idea.
Yes,
both gameplay-wise and thematically wise.
Thematically wise, yes.
It basically starts off like, I'm going to go on a big adventure and see the whole world.
Yes.
And then you do see the whole world and it's completely
It's the same thing 32 times.
It's the same thing 32 times. And all of it's generic, most of it's generic as fuck, and they don't interact with each other.
It's so poorly designed. I can't believe that it clearly. I absolutely cannot get it around my head. No. I can't get it around my head that there wasn't more stuff designed that they cut out because it didn't work.
Yeah.
Like interlapping stories and gameplay elements.
Yeah.
Clearly, they had stuff.
You know what they wanted you to actually do? This is actually true. They said that they didn't expect players to go around and get every party member. They only expected them to get the ones that they like the look of. That's true.
Right. If that's true, I mean, the game's still shit, but the game is not designed for that.
Yeah.
You literally, it's there's level walls.
And all of the artwork is like all of them with the really cool art style. Like,
no way.
Planning a thing, it's like, oh cool, there's going to be like missions or some shit. It's like,
The
no.
bloke who designed it was drunk. He was like, look, we can make something look pretty, but we can't make it.
What if we have like 8 games in one?
What? Yeah, what if there was...
What if we have 8 RPG Maker games in one full-price game?
What if one thief can thief from people, and then he's actually a good guy?
They put a bracelet on him, and he makes him look like a dickhead! That's the actual story.
I can't be a thief with a bracelet. That's so true. This guy killed my entire kingdom, but he's not that bad. He's alright.
Speaking of overrated games.
Okay, well, we'll have to continue this in a part 2, I imagine.
Oh fuck.
It depends how much you got left.
A lot.
Yeah, part 2.
I've got my favourite game of the year, and also the overrated game of the year, which you should know. It's AAA. And the game that we both played.
I've got 3 games that I need to talk through.
Which is part 2?
Yeah. Okay, should we finish on one game then?
Yep.
To talk about? Matt, is there a game you want to talk about?
Oh, damn. I want to talk about FIFA 19, but you guys don't want me to talk about
Just talk about FIFA 19.
I'll talk about
what a great way to end this.
Alright, I'll talk about it really quickly, alright? I've spoken about football games on this podcast before. Look, FIFA 19 offered something which, at the start, and it's like the Sonic cycle.
A Ronaldo skin.
But it offered actually some sort of things at the start, pre-release, that was quite exciting. They were going to do stuff with the shooting mechanic, and there was going to be timed finishing, and it was going to be good, and that's more depth to that. And they were going to add things like, oh, you can't get cards and red cards, and heads and volleys. There's a heads and volleys game mode, and then it was all very disappointing. Basically, all the new stuff that they added, you can't play online. It's only on kickoff local player mode. Don't know why. They didn't touch half the game modes, and stuff. The things that they added, like timed finishing, completely broke the game. It's really bad.
How was the story mode?
I'm glad it's in there.
I forgot.
Oh my god, they have an actual story mode, don't they? Alex Hunter. This time he joins Real Madrid.
Like, listen.
That's like goal 1 and goal 2
Yeah,
those
yeah.
dreadful movies.
Listen, people shit on this story mode, but it's variation to the gameplay, and it's
Sure.
a fair enough attempt.
Sure.
It's not absolutely horrible.
I'm glad that they
Like
did
it's dumb.
something like that.
It's dumb and silly, but it's not absolutely.
It's
horrible.
better than being a glorified
However-
DLC each time.
Yes. However, the game is dumb and really bad.
I don't know if
A lot of the additions they made either weren't good enough. You can't play them online or with friends, only on local co-op. Most of the game modes they didn't touch, and the stuff in-game on the pitch they changed just broke it.
Great way to end the podcast.
We'll see you again in part 2 because Tom has just
All the
dropped.
viewers come for these FIFA opinions.
Tom has just.
Everyone's chatting shit.
I hate-
Everyone's chatting so much shit.
How
There's
much
gonna
is your ultimate team
be,
worth?
going to be people flooding in to hear my opinion.
You're the reason loot boxes got
I
banned in Belgium.
By the way, guys, I really like Dark Souls. Isn't Dark Souls good? Because Dark Souls.
Burn this heathen! Burn him!
Dark Souls hasn't been talked about enough. Let's talk about Dark Souls more.
Let's bust out the vampire
Well, you
killer.
just play Dark Souls, and then we
We
can
play
all
a good
talk
game
about
instead
it.
of FIFA, you fuck! Tom said he's gonna a trade in Smash because he lost a game.
Yeah, that's Tom.
Bye!